What's up, guys? Philsmeyer Flies here, coming at you with another tutorial. Today we're going to be tying the bass bully. This is the way that I tie it. Super fun pattern to tie. Swims hook point up. So, here we go. In the vise, we got a Firehole stick, 7/18, size 10. And we are going to start with some Danville's 210 denier fluorescent pink. So we'll start just a couple eye lengths back. Just make a nice band of thread right here. And this is where we're going to attach our dumbbell eyes. Like so. Do X wraps. I usually do 3 or 4 turns, turn it straight, and then 3 or 4 turns the opposite direction. That should line up the eyes. Come back, do 3 or 4 turns the other way, making sure to keep them straight on the hook. And then once you get here, you're going to want to go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over to really lock those eyes down. What that's going to do is that's going to cinch those wraps over the top, cinch those down tight. So now we should be locked in. And now we'll come back. And I like to take, you can use super glue, whatever. I just use some head cement, saturate all that stuff just to hold it in. Make sure they don't go anywhere. And we'll finish dressing the hook. Come about to where, about where the barb would normally be. And now I've got some olive rabbit zonker strips here that we're going to use for the tail. And we use these fibers for the head as well. So clip off a nice little strip. We're going to make this tail about hook shank length. You can go longer, you can go shorter, either way. And we're going to tie this in upside down. Like I said, this swims hook point up, so whenever it's swimming, the tail will be right side up. And I stripped a little bit of the fibers off the backing right there to make it easier to tie in. So just kind of pinch that, get a couple good wraps in there to hold it in place. Try not to let it spin on you, because it'll try. And there we go. Now, we're just going to kind of smooth out this body a little bit. There we go. And now we're just going to tie in some green crystal chenille. This stuff here. Same thing. Strip a little bit of the fibers off to leave an exposed stem. And now I like to tie this in with it to get those first wraps to lay right. Try and lay that over to the far side of the hook. Lay all your fibers over to the far side. That way whenever you pull them, they'll start laying right. Okay, and we're just gonna flip our bobbin cradle over here, hold our bobbin off to the side. Now, see, whenever you pull that, those fibers are automatically laying back. If you had done it the other way, your fibers would be forward, which wouldn't quite be right. You want these to lay back. So we're just gonna use the rotary and get as close to touching turns as you can with that chenille. Take your time here. We want to cover up as much of that pink as possible. And we're going to go, I'd say about another eye length. We'll stop about another eye length behind the eyes. So maybe one. Yeah, there we go. So that's going to be our body, part of it anyways. Run that through, get that caught. Like that. Then we can trim away this excess. And there we go. Now, we're going to use some fluorescent pink craft fur in a dubbing loop. So make your dubbing loop. Pull that back, work back forward. Now to prepare this stuff, I just stand up a bunch of fibers. Get those cut off, like so. Kind of strip out a little bit of that under fur stuff that's in there. And then, so this much, we'll make 2 pieces. So what we'll do is we'll cut right here and drop that on your tying table. And then we'll take this second piece that has all the tips on it and we'll flip it around and we'll cut the tips off about the same length that we did the first piece. And these don't have to be exactly perfect in length. You can trim them down after you get them into your dubbing loop. But so what you end up is just a clump like so. So now we'll take our dubbing loop here that I almost lost. And we're going to wax this thread, both sides, and drop our clump in. And once you get it pulled in and pulled tight, now we can start situating all these fibers and kind of make them a little more sparse. Spread it out just a little bit. And if you've got any extra long pieces, you can come in with your scissors, kind of trim them up. The head, I don't really worry about trimming up too much because I'm going to trim it at the end, trim it to shape. But this one, I don't really like cutting this after I've got it tied in. So I try to get them, you know, as close to where I want them as far as lengthwise goes. So probably about the same length as this crystal chenille that I use for the body. So now we're just going to spin this up into a dubbing brush, like so. And then we're going to start taking wraps. And stroke these fibers back as you wrap. It's just going to help everything lay a little better. And there we go. Well, all right, now you can trim out your dubbing loop. And this is where we're going to tie in our rubber legs. So what you want to do is separate out 4 strands. Cut that off. And now we can take and fold this in half because they don't need to be near this long, but fold this in half. Come in and snip those. You're going to tie your first set in on the near side of the hook, right behind the eyes. Like so. And then we will flip over and tie the other set on the far side. No. do any adjusting you need to do. Okay. Now, we're going to take some more zonker strip. And you can use whatever clamp you got. I like these hairline material clamps. They work pretty well for a lot of this bigger stuff. Just hold it by the back and kind of stand those fibers up is all you want to do. You can lick your fingers a little bit and that'll help them stand up straight too. Now we're just going to come in with our clamp and clamp that like so. And now cut your zonker, or cut the strip out. So you've got this. And we're going to do the same thing we did with the craft fur. Just make a nice dubbing loop. And now we can run our thread up to the eye of the hook. Same steps. We will wax our thread. Wax, wax, wax. Shit's important. And now we're going to slide this rabbit zonker up into the thread and let go of it. Spin it up into a dubbing brush. It's gonna be nice and bushy. And hold everything back. Oh no. That wasn't supposed to happen. See if I can recover from this. Yeah, we're good. Take 2 wraps behind the eyes. Well, I may not have made that long enough to do that. So come diagonal over the top of the eyes and then 1 wrap around in front of the eyes. And you're kind of doing this blind, so just know that you got to pull everything back. And just run the rest of that right behind that eye. So you got a big old messy, bushy looking head. We're going to take our bobbin and catch that a couple times. Make sure she's locked in there. And now we can trim this out. And now we can whip finish. Trim your thread out. So that's what you're left with. And I guess if you wanted to, you could leave that head just bushy like that. I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. But I like to come in with my scissors and kind of trim this into a taper, leaving those back fibers a little long so that they lay over the craft fur. And you're left with that. So now we can take some head cement, just to lock that thread in place. And now you want to cut your legs, about to the midpoint of the tail. And then I just use my whip finish tool to separate the legs. And once you've got them separated, just kind of play with them and pull them out. Like so. Kind of spread them out a little bit. Same thing on the other side. And there you go. That is the finished bass bully. And it swims like so. Thanks for watching, guys.